we've got some cardboard cutouts of our gorgeous leaders all here for us. Now, look, let's go through it in turn then, because you're an expert on performance, essentially, aren't you? And public speaking generally. So, in terms of the position of the leaders in the lineup, who do you think is at their strongest in terms of position?
I think it's a very interesting one, because I think it's Ed Miliband being in the centre. That's where our focus is going to be. And then our focus will draw over to Mr David Cameron.
Mr David Cameron over there. Now, he was the last one to draw the thing out of the hat, wasn't he? So he got that in position. Will that be a disadvantage?
It'll be an interesting perspective, given that the fact that he probably... I'd like to see whether or not he comes across as being a bit more assertive, or whether he still holds himself to himself.
So we've already seen Ed Miliband and David Cameron, Labour and, of course, Conservative Party leaders perform separately, but in a debating style situation, haven't we? How do you think they performed so far?
I think David pipped Ed at the post. I think David has a little bit more presence with him, a little bit more gravitas, whereas Ed...
In terms of what? What does he do?
Well, the stance
just in case Ed's watching and he might get some tips. You never know.
He might prevent himself from putting his hand in his pocket, as he did the last time. It's just about taking the space and being in the moment and being there, and I think David does that quite well. OK, now Nick Clegg, a leader of the Liberal Democrats, came into his own, absolutely, in the last TV debate in 2010. What do you think his performance is likely to be like? What should he work on this time? I think he's going to be concerned about saying the right thing.
Which he wasn't last time, in your view.
Which he wasn't the last time. It's kind of like Nicola Sturgeon and Leanne. They're sort of on the outskirts, so they can present their agenda, whereas I think he's going to be concerned about saying the right thing.
So it'll make him perhaps more reticent in his performance.
Indeed.
OK. Well, you mentioned the women. 3 women for the first time in the debate here. What advantages will they have? Is there any advantage to being a woman in this?
I think it changes the dynamic. It changes the dynamic and makes it a lot more playful and a lot more real in terms of real life. So I think it'll be interesting to see how the different genders play off each other. OK. I mean, we were looking at Nicola Sturgeon then, and Leanne from Plaid Cymru. What do you think their strengths are in terms of performance? I think Nicola Sturgeon has a clear intent and purpose and meaning when she speaks. She conveys a feeling and an emotion. And I think that's what the audience connects with. The
bookie's favourite, though, is Mr Nigel Farage for UKIP. What does he do right?
What he does right is what I'm saying Nicole does. He conveys an emotion and a feeling, and that to a particular audience, so that audience connects with that feeling. So they believe what he's saying. They believe the body language, because it all is directed towards that emotion.